What's on the line if the Bucks don't make the finals in a wide-open East with a lot of injuries?
Potentially the Greek Freak having a future in Milwaukee. Remember that after this season, he's approaching the last year of his contract. And when you have a talent such as him, you're going to be stuck in a quandary if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. On one hand, you obviously want to sign him, give him the max. He's the face of the franchise. He's a league MVP, probably a reigning two-time league MVP, and all of this other stuff. This guy's phenomenal. And so because of that, you want him to stay. But if he gives you any indication that he's A, either non-committal, or B, that he plans on leaving, you got a decision to make. Do you sit up there, keep him on board, ride the wave, roll the dice, and do everything that you can to make sure that you keep him in Milwaukee? Or do you look at the obvious tradable asset that he is, where practically every team in the NBA would be trying to kick down your door to see what they could offer you in exchange for his services and go from there? If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, that's the kind of situation that you may find yourself in if this team loses, particularly if they get bounced out early, because you're able to look at the rest of the squad. All of a sudden, you've been raving about Eric Bledsoe and Brooks Lopez and Chris Middleton and Wes Matthews and Dante, DiVincenzo. What is I keep forgetting his name. I always correct.
DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo, that's right, for Villanova.
DiVincenzo.
Played ball Final Four, balled out the whole bit when they won the national title. Villanova, love that guy. But here's the deal. In the end, what you've got to look at is it's about the Greek Freak. And you don't know if the Greek Freak is going to reach a point where he's saying, all right, enough of this, I might need. If I got an opportunity, say, for example, to end up in Golden State, playing with Steph and Clay, marksman, where I get to do what I want to do, and you can never double up on me because those two brothers are on a wing somewhere, shooting jumpers all over the place. That might be an attractive scenario for him. You just never know, just using that as an example. So it's going to really put them in a pinch. I think the only definitive way the Milwaukee Bucks can assure themselves of keeping the Greek Freak is if they win the chip. He has come from very humbled beginnings. We saw a phenomenal story about him and his upbringing in Greece and what he's had to endure. So he can deal with any kind of situation after that. Milwaukee certainly is a significantly better situation for him than this kind of environment that he grew up in. But it doesn't mean it's the best environment compared to other potential landing spots in the NBA if Milwaukee doesn't win. That is what potentially is on the line for them, and I think they got to pay attention to that.
I think you're right. That's the biggest thing on the line for anyone is the Greek Freak's future in Milwaukee. And the reason I went from on here and on the radio, on the Max Kellerman Show, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN News 2, Stephen A., as you know.
That's right.
The reason I went from talking a lot of Bledsoe to talking a lot of DiVincenzo on the air is because he needs help. The Freak needs help. And if you're Middleton, you're a good all-star, but not the kind of go-get-your-own-shot kind of star in crunch time that a playmaker guy when you can take the Freak off the ball that you really need. So you need someone else to step up. And Bledsoe has the talent, but he's not a great shooter, and he's been unable to do it in the playoffs consistently. So I look at DiVincenzo, who was the best player on the floor when they won the national title, scored a lot, he's an excellent defender, who handles it and shoots it just well enough maybe to be that guy to really help the Freak out and Middleton out, assuming Middleton can get his game up when they need him. But I think what's on the line for the Freak, Stephen A., if they lose, is his position in the kind of constellation of NBA stars. It wasn't long ago where I was thinking, if this dude gets his shot a little better from the outside and improves his handles by a little bit, he could go down as the greatest player of all time. Like if he shot 33, 34% from three, and he was handling a little better, because he handles it well for a big, but he doesn't handle it well, period, right? Who's better than him? He's like, then he could get it done in the playoffs, and then he starts racking up chips at 7 feet tall, doing all that stuff. He starts to challenge Jordan the way he takes it hard to the hole and the way he plays defense. But that hasn't happened because he's been stopped in the playoffs. And given it may be, although he is getting better as a three-point shooter, he's shooting over 30% now and taking under 2 shots a game, but more than a 3 a game, which he hasn't done in the past. If that trend continues, that's all well and good. But Stephen A., this just may be who he's going to be. He may already be there, a great player who really is more of a big than anything, and you need to get him help, right? But if he keeps getting stopped in the playoffs, that will be his reputation, and he will settle down below LeBron and KD and Kawhi and the guys who you don't need that crime partner who can handle from, which is a little harder to find nowadays. So I think that's what's on the line for the Freak.
Max, Giannis's game has already had us put respect on his name. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm going to say his full name because Nigel, I know to carry last. But Giannis is a generational talent. You mentioned it. And when it comes to those type of impactful players, we have to start realizing that loyalty and legacy are two completely different things. No matter how loyal a player is, legacy usually wins, right? Because we define players' careers largely by championships. So that's what's at stake, legacy. And also as athletes, we judge ourselves by our legacy, how we have impacted the game. Now, when you're a two-time MVP, which he's likely to be, and also have a Coach of the Year, the pressure to deliver a championship will continue to increase, especially when there's no Kawhi or LeBron in your conference. Now, we all know that Giannis brings not only dominance, but also joy to Milwaukee. He seems at home. His brother is there. He and his wife just welcomed a beautiful boy. In Milwaukee, there are no distractions, let's be real. Now, this is why we saw him go from MIP, Most Improved Player, to MVP. And his team is also leveling up with him. We talked Chris Middleton, Stephen A. listed them all. Like, these guys are all trying to level up their game, but this, in reality, is his 7th season in the NBA, and that's around when players start, in their prime, start getting that championship itch, and their patience is tested, and the pressure keeps rising. And you guys mentioned it, Giannis is a humble guy with humble beginnings, but not when he steps on the court. When he's hooping, he's a monster. 30 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, in less minutes than last year. So I've always told people, when you have a top player, your teammates are the ones auditioning for you to stay.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.